Hello all. In this video we will discuss binary search algorithm and how to compute its time complexity. In the previous video we have seen linear search algorithm and its time complexity. So in binary search we are given a sorted array. We are given an array of n elements in non-decreasing order, either ascending order or descending order. Here we are assuming it is in ascending order. So our array is already in sorted order, and we wish to search a particular element, say k, in the array. If the element is there in the array, we are going to return its position or index, else we will return -1, just like linear search algorithm. So the idea is like this. What we do is we are searching a key in the sorted list. Since we know this fact, what we do is we straight away jump to the middle position within the array, and we compare our key with the middle position element in the array. As we know that A is sorted, A of 1 is less than or equal to A of 2 less than or equal to dot 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 less than or equal to A of n. So this equation holds. So the idea is like this: we are searching a key k, we are directly jumping to the middle position, we are checking whether k is indeed equal to A of mid. If k is indeed equal to A of mid, we will return this mid position, right? This is the position of the element in the array. If we are fortunate, we will get that element in just one comparison. Okay, in just one comparison. But if k is not equal to A of mid, then there are two possibilities: either the element which we are searching is less than A of mid, or it is either greater than A of mid. If it is less than A of mid, if we know that the element which we are searching is less than A of mid, then certainly it can be found in the first half of the array. And certainly what we can do is we can simply discard the second half of the array, since we know that the element which we are searching is less than A of mid. So what is happening over here? In just one comparison, we are discarding half of the list. We are discarding half of the list. Similarly, if k is greater than A of mid, then we know that it can only be found in the second half of the array. In the second half of the array. So what we can do, we can simply ignore, or we can simply discard the first half of the array. So in just one comparison, we are either able to find the element, or we are either able to discard one of the half of the arrays, either the latter half or the first half of the array. So that is the advantage. So we are saving time over here. So we have two possibilities: we have iterative algorithm and we have recursive algorithm. Let's see both one by one. So let's see an iterative version of binary search algorithm. So we have got a binary search algorithm. We are given an array of n elements and we are searching an element k. We decide low and high. Low will be the first index and high will be the last index in the array. So low is representing first index of the first element in the array, and high is representing index of the last element in the array. We iterate in a loop, and we go in a loop as long as low is less than or equal to high. Low is less than or equal to high, 1 less than or equal to n. We will iterate in a loop. Each time we go to the middle position, so low plus high by 2. Here we have taken a floor. Here we have taken a floor. So low plus high by 2. So let's say n is say 9. So 1 plus 9 is 10. 10 by 2 is 5. Let's say if n is 8, so 1 plus 8 is 9. So 9 by 2 is actually 4.5, but we want integer division and we are taking a floor. So 4.5 floor would be 4. So we'll go to the middle position. Okay. And then we compare that our element k with the middle position element. If we get a match, we return the middle position, right? We return the index of that element in the array. Okay. So in just one comparison, we may get the element if at all the element is found at the middle position. If k is greater than mid, A of mid, if k is greater than A of mid, then what we do, we are going to simply discard the first half of the array. So if you discard the first half of the array, then low can be set to mid plus 1. So we can only focus on the second half of the array. If this is also false. This means that k is less than a of mid. If k is less than a of mid, then we are going to discard the second half of the array. So in that case, high will be mid minus 1. So high will be mid minus 1. So we are going to only focus on the first half of the array. First half of the array. We iterate in a loop. If we get the element, we will return the index position of the element. And if the element is not present in the array, eventually low will exceed high. And if low exceeds high, then we are going to return minus 1 for unsuccessful search, right? Sorry. Let's see a recursive version of the same algorithm. So this is my recursive algorithm. If low is less than or equal to high, what we do, we go to the middle position as always, low plus high by 2. We check whether the element is found at the middle position or not. If so, if we get a match, we return the index of that element in the array. Otherwise, if k is not equal to a of mid, then we check whether k is greater than a of mid or not. If k is greater than a of mid, this means that the element may be present in the second half of the array. If the element can be found in the second half of the array, then the first half of the array can be ignored or discarded. So for that, what we do is we simply change the value of low as mid plus 1. We simply change the value of low as mid plus 1. So we have discarded first half of the array, and we call the same function again R binary search for mid plus 1 comma h, right? So we are only focusing on the second half of the array. If this condition is also false, if k is greater than a of mid is also false, then k is less than a of mid. If k is less than a of mid, then we can focus on the first half of the array and we can discard the second half of the array. If you want to discard the second half of the array, then what you can do, you can keep low as it is, and then high would be simply mid minus 1. High would be simply mid minus 1. We have skipped the second half of the array. We have discarded second half of the array and high comes to mid minus 1. So we are only focusing on the first half of the array. So this is how we go. Eventually, if we get the element, we will return the index position. If we don't, if the element is not there in the array, eventually this if condition will be false. And what we do is we return minus 1 for unsuccessful search. Now let's see what would be the time complexity of this algorithm. You can see that in one comparison, you discard half of the array, right? So if your list contains n elements, you go to the middle position, you check the element whether the element is found in the middle position or not, and if the element is not there at the middle position, you either discard first half or second half of the array depending upon the value of k, depending upon the value of k and depending upon the value present at the middle location of the array. So this is my recurrence relation. If n is 1, then there is no need to divide. That element itself is low, that element itself is high, that element itself is mid. We simply check whether the element is there or not there. So this will require some constant amount of time. So that is a. A is constant amount. If n is only 1, there is no need to divide. Okay. If n is greater than 1, then what we do? We go to the middle position, we compute middle position, we go to the middle position and we compare. So for going to the middle, for computing middle position, for going to the middle position and checking whether the element is there or not requires some constant amount of time. So that is b. So b is a constant figure. And if the element is not present, then the size is reduced by half. So originally the list was having n elements, but now the list contains n by 2 elements. So time required to execute the same algorithm on input size n by 2, right? N by 2. So let's see how to solve this recurrence relation using substitution method. If t of n is b plus tn by 2, so what would be tn by 2? Tn by 2 would be b plus tn by 4, right? B plus tn by 4. T of tn by 2 is b plus tn by 4. So this b is as it is, and tn by 2 is replaced with b plus tn by 4, which is nothing but 2b plus tn by 4, b plus b, 2b plus tn by 4. Now we will substitute for tn by 4. What would be t substitution for tn by 4? B plus tn by 8. N becomes n by 2, n by 2 becomes n by 4, so n by 4 will become n by 8, half, right? So that would be 2b, 2b is as it is, and tn by 4 is replaced as b plus tn by 8. Right? This would be 3b tn by 8, 3b tn by 8. Now which power of 2 is it? Which power of 2 is it? Third power, right? So I can always write this like this. 3b plus tn by 2 raised to 3. Now one interesting thing to observe over here is when we have one occurrence of b, we have 2 raised to 1, right? 2 raised to 1 which is 2. When we have two occurrences of 2, this is 2 raised to 2, so second power of 2. Similarly, when we have 3b, when we have three occurrences of b, we have third power of 2, okay, third power of 2. Likewise, if n happens to be, so we assume that n is some power of 2, say k, which is greater than 0. So let's assume that n is some power of 2, say k, so n is equal to 2 raised to k. So what we are doing, we start with n by 2, n by 4, n by 8, eventually n by n, right? So it would be 2 raised to 1, 2 raised to 2, 2 raised to 3, and then 2 raised to 4, eventually 2 raised to k. And 2 raised to k, we have assumed that it is n, okay? So it is, so we have, you see, when we have third power of 2, we have 3b. So we have kth power of 2, we have kth power of 2, so it is kb, right? Instead of 3b, it is kb. Now kb can always be written as bk. So I have written it as bk, and 2 raised to k is n, 2 raised to k is n. We substitute that 2 raised to k over here, so that is n. So Tn by n, n by n. Now n by n is 1, right? And we know that if n is equal to 2 raised to k, what is k? K is log n to the base 2, right? If n is equal to 2 raised to k, then what is k? K is log n to the base 2. So we are going to substitute the value of k as log n over here, and n by n will become 1. So n by n will become 1. So b log n to the base 2 plus t of 1. What is t of 1? T of 1, when the input argument to t is 1, the output is a, as you know, right? And we can always write it ahead. So we can always write it as a plus b into log n. Now we know that a and b are constants, so according to our convention, we can ignore constant, we can ignore coefficients, and what we get is log n, the term of n. So the time complexity happens to be big theta of log n, unlike linear search. In linear search, it was big theta of n. So here is a considerable time saving. So here we have worst case time complexity of binary search algorithm is big theta of log n. In the next few videos, we will discuss sorting algorithms, several examples, and their time complexities. Thank you.